And kind of tying that in, to your point of it being a noble profession, it took me a while for teachers, right? Just to kind of tie it all in, SRLs and stuff. Because I used to talk to teachers, my kids and stuff, and I'd just be like, I don't, there was an older lady who explained it to me. The way that I looked at because I was like, there's no way I could ever be a teacher at this day. There's no way. They're like, they look at you the exact same way.
They do.
What's then launched into a whole conversation about school safety and all this other stuff. And they're like, teachers aren't designed that way. That's not their mindset. They want to teach kids, nurture kids. Again, just like everything, there's good apples, bad apples, whatever, but in general. And they're not doing it for the money. We all know that. And they come in here every day and they do the best they can. And I was like, it was such a perspective change for me that I was like, you're 100% right. And it changed the way that I interacted with them and talked to them. Because again, even though I wasn't an SRO, we would get called to whatever set child, things that were happening. And I was a little combative because I'm like, how could you let this happen? Or, I was a little like, why weren't you seeing the signs or all these other things? They're like, they're not you, dude. They are not you. Right. That's not where their mind goes. And it took that conversation to happen.
That's a great point. For me, that's probably the biggest mistake that trainers make when training teachers, hands down. They train them as if they are training themselves. And if I was training you and you were training me, oh man, we wouldn't have to talk that much. It'd be a totally different conversation. Like we could be super direct. It'd be like, dude, just do this, do that, lock this down. It'd be like a totally different animal instead of like, okay, so this is what it means. This is why it means. This is why you got to do it this way. No, it's a biggie. Like if there's anyone listening or if anyone is doing training and they're training teachers, you cannot train them like you're training a cop. You have to train them as if you're training a person with no relationship to violence. And it's important to say that there's never been a teacher that I've ever met who has said, man, I just love a good lockdown drill. I love a good active shooter drill, They didn't become teachers to do that. They didn't. So it's like I don't want to say we have to meet them where they are. I think it's more important that I think we have to recognize who they are and who they want to be. Because our goal should be to make them better teachers and then in the process, show them how to be safer.
Yeah.
Like if you can show them how to engage with kids and then make the building safer, they eat that up. I mean, that's like in their life purpose. So it's if you will, it's one of those things with community policing. If you became a cop for the action and you became a cop to take bad guys off the street, all of a sudden, I'm going to try to tell you to do community policing. And that means that you may have to go sit in your car for 8 hours in a particular block or maybe do foot patrol for 8 hours in which you're just going to talk to people and you won't make a single arrest. Man, I did not become a cop to do that. So I think if we remember that, we're more successful because I think at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is the outcome.
100%. And, that was driven home to me when I joined the Secret Service because what you wanted was a boring day. If something happened, that means you failed in your security mission. Your mission is to make things so locked down and so safe that nobody even wants to attempt to try to do anything, which I can tell you after 7 years, it's very boring, but that means you did your job, right? And there's no metric. There's no way to check it. We didn't make all these arrests. We had all these breaches. You want zero. So you want to go work a 12-hour day and have nothing happen other than I need to use the restroom and I need to eat.
And the thing is no one ever comes back to you and says, hey, Tyler, you know what? I was going to attack the president on this day, but because of you guys, I didn't do it. Nobody ever comes back and says, hey, well done. Good job. You changed me.
Nope.
You just have to do the right thing at the right time and hope that you're going to have the right impact. I mean, preventing violence is a lonely business and it's a long business because you don't get the immediate feedback. And if you don't find something to anchor yourself in it, like if you don't find something that you can say that, regardless of whatever I receive on a daily basis, I know this is the right thing to do. It's hard to keep going. It's difficult.